Well, hello everybody. It's Wednesday, and it's 1 o'clock. And that means that this is Chattin' with CHAP, and I'm your host, Ginger Wade. So I'm glad you're here today. And okay, so today we're going to talk transcripts and credits. So for those of you, it's mid-May, so there's probably some homeschoolers out there who are either graduating students and need to create a transcript, or who have somewhere between freshmen and seniors and their students want to dual enroll and they need to show a transcript for something. And you're kind of like, oh my goodness. Now I know that there's a lot of evaluators that provide this as a service to their folks. Oh, you're welcome, Pam. Yeah, check out that detour. Yikes. So, yeah, so there's some evaluators that do transcripts for you. I believe HSLDA has one, and we have one, so I'm going to show the link to that. We have a little transcript generator out there on homeschoolpennsylvania.org. It is super handy. We're going to talk about a few things about transcripts and credits, but first I wanted to explain something about credits. Credits are like the value given to a class that your student takes. Now, I want you all to be aware of something. The word credit is not in the Pennsylvania homeschool law. The word credit is not in the text of the Pennsylvania homeschool law. I just searched it 10 minutes ago. It's not in there. What it says, for a minimum graduation requirement in Pennsylvania, this is what you need, and this is what it says in the law, verbatim. 4 years of English, 4 years of math, 4 years of science, I'm saying this wrong, 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 3 years of science, 3 years of social studies, 2 years of arts and humanities. Now you may say, what's a year? I don't know, Mom. What's a year? What do you say, Dad? What do you think a year is? You get to say what a year is. You are the supervisor. Is the word credit in there? No. It does not say specifically in our law what that is. Now, evaluators usually have a thought or an opinion on this, but honestly, according to what the law says, parents decide the credit value of the course. Now, quick and dirty, my evaluator likes to say if you've done 120 hours of work on the class, it's 1 credit for the year. If you've done 60 hours of work in the class for the year, you get a half a credit. That's her quick and dirty. But that's not in the law. I just want you to be sure that you understand that. That is not written in the law. It's kind of like this basic understanding. So what does your evaluator say it is? What do you think it should be? It could be the book. Okay, so we have Math UC Algebra 2. Well, you earn a credit when you finish the book. Some people say, well, you only have to get through 2/3 of the book in order for it to count. Well, I guess if that's the standard you want to go by, Mom, and you call that a credit, then that's what a credit is. So you as a supervisor, you have a lot of choice and a lot of power in what is going on with your kids. Now, you can make it really easy for your kids. It's not going to help your kids in the end, especially if they want to get into college. No. But what constitutes a year of math or a year of arts and humanities is really, so like for me, my kids do drama. I direct dramas. They're always in my drama. I give them a half credit. It's half the year. I give them a half credit. I don't know if it's 60 hours. Honestly, it's probably way more than that. My boys lead youth band at church. I give them a half a credit for that every single year. They lead worship. Is it 120 hours? Is it 60 hours for half credit? I'm sure it's way more than that. Typically for stuff like that, you give a half credit. So we're thinking, the English course, the math course, the science course, those are generally full credit courses. But as a supervisor, you decide. And the only reason you need to say the word credit is for the transcript. It's not in the law. You don't have to prove a certain number of credits to anyone. It's not in the law. Okay? You use credits when you create a transcript. What's a transcript for? Well, a transcript is really, honestly, it's just a listing of the classes that you took, 9th grade through 12th grade years, where you list what they took, you list how many credits it was worth, and you list the grade. And then you create a GPA based on that. So I'm going to talk about transcripts a little bit. It's from my high school transcript clinic that I went to with HSLDA, like oodles of years ago. And so this information is probably even still out there on their website. So, but they encourage keeping records. You keep, your evaluation letters, your affidavits, your objectives, any test scores that your child has. Keep those things on file, even after your child graduates for a few years. So for logbooks and stuff like that, you're keeping book titles that you used, and you note the days, how many days that you worked. It's also good, then this is getting better, because colleges value homeschoolers at this point. They're getting it. But beforehand, they would question the quality of the course that a homeschooler would take. So it was really, really wise to keep a scope and sequence and a description of the courses that you took. So like in the front of the Math UC book, there's the list of the chapters and the topics covered. I would just type that in or copy and paste it off their website, and that was my description for that math course. So if someone said, well, what did they do in this class? I could show them, this is the list of topics that were covered. This was the grade that they got in that, so you can see. Or they take a co-op class, that's a history class. And in our co-op, we require our teachers to have a syllabus and a little description of what the class is. I just got the grade back for my son's logic class, and she had his grade and also a little bitty description of what the class was in the grade sheet that she gave me at the end. I'm going to keep that on file in case for some reason someone would contact me in years and say, well, what is this class? What was covered in this class? And I can say, well, these are the books and this is what was covered. So just for 9th through 12th grade, it's not a bad idea to keep documents of descriptions of all the courses your children took. I definitely do that with the core 1 credit courses. I actually don't do it for drama, but since I'm the drama teacher, I could write up a description whenever I wanted to. So most people probably wouldn't ask about that. I'm going to pop up my transcript generator again if y'all are looking for help with transcripts. So that's just some stuff to keep on track for yourself. You also want to keep track of any extracurriculars you did, your child did, any work, volunteer work, anything like that. That type of stuff, if they had like some apprenticeship or anything like that where they worked with someone. Because if they're going to college, that's like character building, skill building stuff. And we forget, we forget all the things that our kids have done and what we've done. So write it all down. And then you have this great list that you could show if they go to interview at a college or at a job. You can say, well, I've done this and this and this and this. And they can see, wow, you're a busy, active person, and this is great. So it's good to list those things too. And you can just keep that on your computer, a running list. You can break it up by grade level or year level or however you would want to do that. So transcripts, grades, test scores, that's the stuff you're going to want to keep for a long, long time in your file folder. Okay, after your child graduates, even for a few years. I still have Joel's around. So a transcript pretty much summarizes all the classes your child took from 9th grade through 12th grade, and it also summarizes the grades. So it gives the GPA, and GPA's it's a generic tool that people can use to kind of gauge the education. I don't know how accurate it is, but So, but we need to have them. Colleges like to have them. Colleges want to see them. Actually, the transcript really is more valuable than the diploma. There's some people that ask to see the diploma, but most people want to see the transcript because they want to see what you've done and the quality of work that you've done or your child has done. I keep saying you when I mean that, I mean the student. So, I had the reasons here on my HSLDA thing. Colleges, scholarships, military, employers, vocational schools, apprenticeships. People like to see transcripts, so you want to keep one. So, like I said earlier, there might be an evaluator. Your evaluator might do it for you. HSLDA has a free one. I keep posting ours up here. I'm going to post it again. This is our free transcript generator. And our transcript generator has instructions. It's very easy to use. You just read the instructions on there. It populates it for you. You don't even have to do any calculations. Isn't that nice? I love it. So it's a very handy tool. I'll keep popping it up there on the screen. Homeschoolpennsylvania.org. If you look up sample transcript, it says sample, but it's actually a tool for you to plug in your stuff for your kids. So yeah, you can use that. It's out there. Okay, so on a transcript, you have personal information at the top, where you live, what high school you went to, what your contact information is, all those sorts of things. And then at the bottom part, so there's different ways you can do a transcript. I'm going to show you some samples here. I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but where it's by grade. I'll show you broken up like this. This one is broken by type. So you can see that it's all the English classes they took listed, and then all the math classes they took listed, and then all the science classes they took listed, and the grades that they got, and then there's the credits there. Okay, so you can do it different ways. Now the one that CHAP has, I'll pop it back up here again, is very similar to, I'm sorry, Alicia says I keep fading out. Hopefully you can still see me. CHAPS looks a lot like this. So it is by year, by grade. And you have the credit value and the letter grade value on there. Okay. So if you're using CHAPS tool, which is super handy, if you're using CHAPS tool, you just type in the name of the class and the letter grade. And then CHAPS tool will automatically populate or automatically put this stuff into the actual transcript page. So you don't have to calculate the GPA, which is really nice. If you do have to calculate the GPA, I can explain that to you. It's a little bit like, blah, but it's really not that hard. So, okay, so if you need to calculate your GPA, this is what you do. Can everybody still hear me? I didn't see anything else. I know someone's saying having connectivity issues. That's sad. Let me get out of my car and go a little closer to the Wi-Fi. Okay, so I'll try and do this standing. This will be a little tricky. So if you're computing a GPA, say you had an A in your English class, and it was 1 credit. So an A is a 4, and it was 1 credit, so 4 times 1 is 4. Say in algebra, you got a B, and it was a 1 credit course. So that would be 3, because number 3 is for B, because 4 is an A, 3 is a B, 2 is a C, and 1 is a D. So 3 times 1 is 3. So that's your number. So you calculate all your numbers like that down how many credits. So it's the letter grade value times the credit value. So if it's a half credit, you take it times 0.5. If it's a 1 credit, you take it times 1. And then you add up all the values for all of your classes. I'll show it right here. Can you see what I'm talking about? You add it all up. It's probably backwards for you, I'm sorry. And then you take that number, you add up, and you divide it by the total number of credits that you had. So I know that's a little confusing, but like here's a little explanation if you can read it. So again, it's a HSLDA. You can probably find this stuff on their website to calculate it. But I can tell you that you can also just go to our little website right here, homeschoolpennsylvania.org, and grab our transcript generator, and it will generate it for you. It's actually really not that hard. And then you would do a cumulative GPA, and it's your total credit. So I'll show that little square yet. So you add your GPAs up, and you add up all your cumulative possible credits, and you do some dividing, and it comes out. So I don't know if you can see that. It's really, really horrible. I apologize. Again, another thing you could do, if my talking about how to figure this out is completely making your head explode, you can ask your evaluator for help. You can use our little document here that I keep popping up on the screen. It'll do it for you. You can also, if you have any friends that work in colleges, my husband works at a college, so he does all this he sees stuff all the time. So anyone who works at the college in admissions or anything like that can help you calculate GPAs and stuff if you need assistance. But like I said, our little document here, our sample transcript that's out on homeschoolpennsylvania.org, will do it for you. And if you do want to see how to do it, check out HSLDA. They definitely have a transcript generator for you too, and they can show you how to do it if you'd rather do it yourself. You can have your evaluator do it. It's totally up to you. So hopefully that was helpful. I'm sorry I didn't really explain how to calculate the GPAs very well. But I just wanted to make sure that you all understand that the word credit is not in our law. The reason we need to know the word credit is for creating a transcript. And the reason you need a transcript is if you want to get financial aid or go to a college or the military. I mean, people are looking for transcripts. They don't really care about the diploma. They may ask for it, but what they really want to see is the transcript. So it's really important to keep a list of all the classes, all the grades, descriptions of every class, okay? So if you have the letter grades, the descriptions, the name of the class, you can find someone to help you generate the values in your transcript if it's challenging for you. But that's important information to store for your child starting in the 9th grade year. One more thing I wanted to say really, really quick was about kids who take, like, say, Algebra 1 in 8th grade. You can list it on the transcript. You can list 8th grade classes, Algebra 1, so that you can show that your student took the class, but you do not include the value, the GPA value of that class in their cumulative GPA for their senior high years. So you can list it on the transcript so that you can prove or show that your child had that class, and you can show what grade it was, but you would not include that in your cumulative GPA calculation. So does that make sense? So if you just wanted to show that, yes, my child did have Algebra 1, it happened to be when they were in junior high, that's fine, but you don't include the value of it in the GPA calculation. So hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully I made a few things clear about credits and being in the law, and it's kind of like you decide what a credit is unless you have an evaluator or a diploma program that says this is what a credit is. So again, there's that flexibility in the law and you making a choice. Like if you don't agree with 120 hours for a credit, but that's what your evaluator wants, well, then you need to find a different evaluator. Okay, so all different kinds of evaluators. Just got to talk to them and see what it is, what they feel is appropriate, and if that goes with your schooling philosophy. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful to you all. Again, post your comments, post your questions. You can go out and see if HSLDA has information out there. This was a seminar I sat in years ago, a long time ago, so they probably have it out there somewhere. I'm happy to answer questions, or if you're listening to this on our podcast, you can message in chaponline.com under contact, on our contact form. I would love to answer your questions, so let me know if I missed anything or if I made it worse by trying to explain things. weekend, and if not this weekend, I'll see you next Wednesday. All right, take care, everybody.